Couple of things before I get started. I wanted to put this in the video last week, but I completely forgot to do it, and now it might be too late because you've all probably already seen it, but whatever, I'm going to do it anyway. Movie recommendation, go see the Lego Movie, and then thank yourself when it's over. It was kind of amazing. And like I said, it's been 2 weeks, so you've probably already seen it by this point, and if so, God bless you, it was awesome, and I'm sure you had a great time. But yeah, the Lego Movie was sweet, and if you haven't seen it, go do so, and have a good time, because you most certainly will. And I'll say this, it's one of the best Batman movies ever made. Not even kidding, it really is. It was better than The Dark Knight Rises, yeah, I said it. I didn't even dislike The Dark Knight Rises, I'm just making a point, the Lego Movie's just that awesome. So yeah, go see the Lego Movie. And yeah, going forward with my videos, I should note that for WrestleMania season, I had to pretty much map out a filming schedule of how I was going to do my videos, because I'm doing the WrestleMania Top 30 series, and I'm doing the Godzilla movie reviews, and there were a couple other WrestleMania videos I wanted to do next month, so I really did have to map out a lot of it in advance, while also doing my more current events videos. And doing those along the way. So, you know, it filled up my time, and I felt like I've really got to have a schedule going and really map this whole thing out. I am officially done filming WrestleMania Top 30. It's completely done filming. You'll get parts 4 and 5 next month in March, so enjoy that. My hair might look different because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a haircut, so I'll be doing my current events videos with a buzz cut, and in parts 4 and 5, I'll have longer, bushier, you know, hair. But whatever. I don't think anybody will care. And I've also finished filming Godzilla Part 2, so that'll be coming next month as well. So I actually got a good jump on this. I'm actually kind of proud of myself. I'm ahead of schedule, and now I can dedicate a little bit more time to the other WrestleMania videos I wanted to do, because I was worried about whether or not I was going to have time to do those, and I think I will. So that's all good, and you'll be seeing those sometime in March. So March is going to be pretty loaded. So if you're a fan of my channel, yeah, March is a pretty good month to pay attention. So yeah, I had a lot of fun filming the WrestleMania Top 30, and I literally just got done filming the top 6, and I was really happy with how that turned out overall. And I hope nobody gets mad at whatever my top 6 is, but yeah, I think it'll be interesting. And again, I encourage anybody to post their lists and post their opinions regarding their top favorite WrestleMania matches as well. So it's all good. It's all meant to create discussion and have fun. That's what this is really about. So that out of the way. We have Elimination Chamber coming up this Sunday, and there's really only one match that I really, really want to see, and that's the match that's really got me thinking. It's like, oh, I think I want to order this pay-per-view. But before I get into that, I'm just cock-teasing y'all all around. I do have to comment on Raw this week. For the string of bad Raws that we've had pretty much since the Royal Rumble, I actually enjoyed Raw this week. The Cena-Cesaro match that everybody is praising was awesome, and I have to shower that match with praise. It looked great, and Cesaro came out of that looking like $1 million overall, and it proved he could really hang with a main event crowd, because that's always the tough part of creating a new star, is making it look like he can fit in with the main eventers, and that's not always easy to do. That can be very hard. But Cesaro didn't look out of place at all. He looked great. And as somebody who has been singing Claudio Castagnoli's praises for years, it is kind of a nice confirmation of my faith in him that he was able to go out there on Raw and have a match like that with a main event star like John Cena. I thought that was really good. And hopefully it leads to better things for him in the future. I mean, this is the best Cesaro's ever been. I mean, he's been the victim of some inconsistent booking. I remember when they had him doing the yodeling gimmick, and I was like, wow, that's really, Vince, that's all you got for him? Really? The guy's as strong as an ox, and decent look, very good worker, and that's all you got? Yodeling gimmick? All right, sure. But he's doing really well now, and is kind of the dark horse going into the Elimination Chamber match, and he's proved that he actually looks like he belongs there, and that's a good thing. some people will complain that Cena went over, and I think it's a fair complaint because it's a minor roadblock in Cesaro's momentum heading into the pay-per-view, but overall, I thought he came off looking really well in the match. He's actually been on kind of a roll lately, so they're booking him quite well. And there were some other things I liked on Raw, too. I liked the stuff with Daniel Bryan. I thought that was good. Of course, the stuff with the Shield and the Wyatts was amazing. That ending to Raw was so cool. And I'm going to talk in more detail about that match. But, God, what else? I enjoyed Titus O'Neil's promo. I was worried when they split up the primetime players that they would just turn Titus into a no-nonsense, I'm a big scary guy because I've got muscles everywhere and I'm just big and mean. And I think that plays against Titus's natural personality because, as I've said before, I think he's legitimately funny. So at least they're letting him cut funny promos. I'll give them that. I still think it's a mistake to break up the primetime players because that tag division needs teams. And not even just to put the belts on them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it helps to have as many teams as possible to make the division look like it has depth so that when you do win the tag titles, it actually means something. And yes, the Usos better win those fucking tag titles this Sunday. I mean, the match is happening this Sunday, right? I don't remember if they made it official or not. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure they did. But yeah, I mean, I love the way the Usos were making fun of them for being old because it's like, yeah, you are old. You are extremely old. And I love that they call themselves the New Age Outlaws. What New Age do you represent? The one from 15 years ago? Okay, and it's literally whenever I watch them, I just sit there going, it's like, they might as well be yelling, we're still cool! We're still cool! And I'm already sick of it, so I hope to God the Usos win the tag titles, because if I have to go through another week of the Outlaws as tag champions, my head might explode from frustration. But, what else happened on Raw? I actually really liked, and this is going to sound weird, but for all the bashing I do of WWE comedy segments, I actually really liked the Cody Rhodes and Goldust and Bad News Barrett segment. Bad News Barrett is the best that Wade Barrett has ever been. Some of the segments fall flat, and yes, some of them absolutely fall flat, but then he has these other ones where he's actually really funny, and I think it's funny. I know it sounds weird. And I usually hate those segments where they're like deliberately shilling more merchandise and toys. It's like, oh, hey, look at us playing with these toys. You can have them too, kids. But they had Cody and Goldust bond as brothers and play with the toys, and it was actually kind of funny and kind of cute. Then Barrett kicks over the set, and Goldust is so upset because it's like, oh, look, Undertaker's like over there with his, and his bike's all the way across the room. I don't know why. That segment just tickled me. I don't know. It was maybe I'm just weird, but I thought that segment was really funny. So, yeah, overall, I did enjoy Raw this week for the first time in a while. I don't like... Here's the problem. Batista still sucks. Yeah, now they have him beating up cripples. What a dick. I mean, his character is such a douchebag. It's like, you are the babyface, right? You're supposed to be the babyface? Could have fooled me. Can't tell. But... going into Elimination Chamber, it really does look like Orton's going to win because they had him lose almost every match leading into the pay-per-view. And WWE just loves to do that. They love to do that where they make a guy look weak and then have them win at the pay-per-view. It doesn't make any sense. To me, like, okay, what they're probably going to do with Bryan is that Bryan's shoulder injury that he suffered on Raw this week will play a part in him losing. That actually makes sense. You got weakened, and there's actually a payoff to it, and it actually hinders you and costs you matches. If they do that, that would actually make sense. I mean, obviously I would prefer that Daniel Bryan would win because I think him in the main event at WrestleMania is a much better choice. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be him and Triple H, which means, Cena's going to face Wyatt. That's pretty much a given at this point. And I highly doubt that Cesaro, Sheamus, or Christian are going to win it. Christian, in my opinion, and I'm not ragging on Christian, I don't think he belongs in this match. I don't think he's been built up well enough to really deserve to be one of the top 6 contenders for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. He just came back and he's lost almost every match since he's been back. So to me, it's like he's kind of the guy in there. It's like, why is he in there? He doesn't And yes, the dude's talented, but I would be saying the same thing if Dolph Ziggler were put in this. It's like, yeah, Dolph's talented, and yeah, he should be in that spot, but they've booked him so poorly that he doesn't belong there. His character doesn't belong in that spot. But anyway, I doubt that Christian's going to win, or Cesaro, or Sheamus, and Cena and Bryan look like they're going to have other WrestleMania matches. So are they honestly going to go with Orton and Batista as their WWE title match? Good luck. That's all I can say. Just good luck with that. Have fun. Enjoy. I can't believe that they would actually still go with that after the way Batista's return has been salvaged. They don't even put him in front of a live crowd anymore. Did you notice that on Raw? They didn't dare put him in front of the live crowd. That was, that's a sign that they know. I mean, they're not ignorant. They know. It's just... you got to be willing to change the plan because nobody gives a shit. And it just looks like the way everything's mapped out that they're not going to change the plan. So, okay, whatever. And I guess we'll find out either this Sunday, the next night on Raw, or the Raw in Chicago, whether or not CM Punk's departure was a work. Because I'm still not convinced that it's for real. We'll see. It's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not saying it's definitely a work, but let's wait and see, because I've still got a lot of questions on how weird this whole thing turned out. So, who knows? We might be seeing CM Punk sometime soon. I would not be surprised if the whole thing was a work. I'll say that. And I hope it's a work, because I would love to have CM Punk at WrestleMania this year. And he could work with Triple H, and then Bryan could win the title match at Elimination Chamber and then get into the main event spot that he should have, quite honestly, because, I mean, if they do Orton Batista as their closer, or even just as their world title match, the crowd is going to shit on it. I can tell you that right now. They are going to shit on it. It's just, and they should, because nobody wants to see that fucking match. But, yeah, I think I pretty much covered all the important stuff from Elimination Chamber and Raw. And like I said, I did enjoy Raw this week. Some really good matches and some fun segments, and they kept the bad stuff to a minimum. And overall, it was an inoffensive show. Now, the big thing for Elimination Chamber that I really want to see, the Shield versus the Wyatts. This is the match. This is the big match that is making me like, I gotta see this pay-per-view just because this match is on it. And it's so simple, but it works. And this feud, this story, this combination of characters demonstrates wrestling done right. What you have here is 2 3-man factions that have been booked as dominant badasses that kill almost everybody that walks in their path. The Shield has beaten almost everybody since day one, since they got there. The Wyatts have beaten almost everybody since they've gotten there. Every time there's a 6-man tag, those two teams seem to go over. Not always, but for the most part they do. Bray Wyatt has recently strung up some big wins. He's going after John Cena, and he beat Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble. So he's on a big roll, and he's got his followers by his side to flank him. So they've been built up extraordinarily well. You had their interactions at around Survivor Series time, and I argued they should have been on the same team at Survivor Series, but you had that 1 week where they came to blows and then formed an alliance, and the crowd just completely ate it up. They bought it hook, line, and sinker. It just made sense to put these two factions on opposing sides, and even putting them on the same side kind of puts you on this path to eventually doing this payoff at this point. And quite honestly, I think Shield and Wyatt should have been the Mania match. But it looks like they're going to do Bray Wyatt versus John Cena, which I don't have a problem with as long as Bray Wyatt goes over. I just have my doubts that Bray Wyatt's going to go over because it's Cena, and they're going to look at it like, look, Cena lost in December, January, February. He's most likely not going to win Elimination Chamber. So we can't have him lose 4 pay-per-views in a row. And it's like they're going to look at it that way. And it's like, no, you've got Bray on a roll, man. He beat Daniel Bryan. You had him go over Bryan. The Wyatts are most likely going to beat the Shield and be responsible for the Shield breaking up. And so he's going to have that heat on him. And if he beats John Cena at WrestleMania, oh my God, main event heel. You've created a main event heel. You've given him momentum, and you've built him up enough to where he could probably get a title shot at some point. That's and they don't always do that with their heels. It's always just kind of a stop and go type, or even their baby faces. Quite honestly, it's just touch and go, back and forth, stop and stall, or start and stop, I should say. They do that all the time with their pushes, but Bray, they've got on a pretty good momentum right now, and if they built him up just to feed him to Cena, I think that's horseshit. But whatever. But anyway, we're getting Shield and Wyatts at Elimination Chamber, and I am so excited for this match because I think it's going to be the show stealer. It's the match that I want to see, personally. I wouldn't have minded if this had been the Elimination Chamber match, quite honestly. Whatever happened to Brock Lesnar? That's a good question. Like, wasn't Lesnar going to challenge the WWE Champion? What happened to that? Did they just drop that? Or I guess they did. Whatever. I guess we'll find out next week on Raw. But anyway, Shield and Wyatts is the main reason I want to see the show. It's the best built-up match. It's the most interesting match based on the characters and the performance you have in the role and the way both factions have been presented and the fact that these two powerful factions that are so similar yet so different are finally crossing paths and finally having a match against each other. And also key, they did not do singles matches all week where it's like you get Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt or Luke Harper versus Ambrose or Eric Rowan versus Seth Rollins or anything like that. They didn't do anything like that. They have not had any matches against each other yet. None that I'm aware of. Of course, I only watch Raw, so who knows? Maybe they fought each other on SmackDown. I don't know. I don't watch SmackDown. So I haven't seen them even work matches against each other. So it's, oh my God. And the segments they've done on TV where it's like they are totally cock-teasing that they make you want to see this match. And and I gotta say, interesting match, should be an interesting payoff. It makes me want to see the payoff anyway, the way they built it up. This is what I want. And, I know I'm mostly negative and I mostly complain about the WWE doing stuff wrong and the build-ups and all that stuff, but I'm not being negative just for the sake of it. The stuff that I ask for is completely within the realm of possibility. I'm not asking the WWE or any wrestling company to, I don't know, undig the Holy Grail, just beat up the knight, take the grail, pass the seal, and just walk out of there unearthing the Holy Grail and use it to perform a blood sacrifice with the Care Bears while on board the Death Star as it crashes into a supernova. I'm not asking for something that's fucking impossible, okay? I'm asking for you to have patience, establish strong characters, put the right talents in those characters, in those roles to make it work, give guys momentum, build them up over time, and then when the time is right, after you've cultivated and built and just worked this whole thing, then you do the payoff. And that's what they did here with Shield and Wyatts. They could have hotshot it right the second the Wyatts debuted, but they didn't. They kept it slow. They built the Wyatts up slowly but surely. They built them up. Let Bray cut his promos, his vignettes, and then they moved into the Raw and started having matches, and then they won most of their matches, and then the Shield, while that was going on, was having their feuds and was dominating most everybody that they faced, and the Shield was already established by the time the Wyatts got there, so they knew that this was a good match to have, so they waited. They waited, they demonstrated patience, and again, like I said, this could have been the Mania match, and it probably should have been, but I'll take it. What they've done here, I'll take it, and I think they've done a really good job, considering their recent history and how they normally hotshot things and don't give it the proper build. This is something that they did right. And there's a reason why the crowds, every time they tease Shield and Wyatts, they go apeshit. And they just go crazy. There's a reason why. Because it's interesting. Because people want to see it. You made us want this, and now you're giving it to us. It's pro wrestling. I mean, this is the best. This is what pro wrestling should be. And far too often they kind of fuck it up. And I mean, to use the TNA example, one of the biggest mistakes they ever made was doing Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe 1 month after Angle debuted. That was a gigantic mistake. Gigantic mistake. They could have gotten a year's worth of build out of that. But they weren't patient. They didn't cultivate and develop and grow it. They just wanted the payoff right away they wanted the payoff without earning it. And I see that a lot in modern day wrestling. You want your big payoffs, but you don't earn them. And the Shield and the Wyatts, and yes, we all pretty much know that the Wyatts are going to win because they're doing the Shield breakup and everything, but You made us want this match. You made us wait for it. You teased it in bits and pieces along the way. Then you finally went full force with it this month. And I'm excited to see it. I want to see it. I want to see what happens when these two sets of great characters and great performers in these unique stables clash. I want to see it. So, kudos to the WWE. You did a very good job in building Shield and Wyatts. And I would, if you would do this all the time, because again, it's entirely possible. You know how I know that? You did it here. So I'm not asking for something crazy, and if you did stuff like this all the time, I wouldn't be complaining as much. So there you go. So Shield and Wyatts absolutely gets a big thumbs up from me, and hopefully it delivers at the pay-per-view because that's the match I want to see. So here's hoping. But until then, I'll see you all next week with the review of Elimination Chamber, and obviously we've got some stuff coming next week as we start building into WrestleMania, and the launch of the WWE Network happens as well. So a lot of stuff to talk about coming down the road. So until then, I will see you all later.